we are here with Christina and Lauren to discuss many things, writing, but their new book, Dark Wild Night, comes out September 15th. Thank you! You got it. We have it now. Thank you, Kristen, their publicist. And so this continues the stories of these new characters that we've come to love. So this is about Oliver and Lola. First thing, her name is Lola.
Yes.
Her name is Lorelai.
Lorelai.
Okay, but the nickname
is Lola.
Is Lola, and you have a nickname. Is there a reason you just?
You know, it's funny. So my name is Lauren, obviously. Most people call me Lo, but for fandom I use Lola Shoes. But I never really identified with that.
Like we don't call her Lola.
As mine. It was just sort of like cute and fun. Right. So when we had her be Lorelai, Lola just seemed like a and then somebody pointed it out. They're like, "Oh, is that weird?" And I was like, "Why?" You know.
So yeah, she doesn't have your personality characteristics. We were wondering if you identified with certain characters that you've written.
Harlow.
That's what I said.
Harlow and Bennett.
I read it and I was like,
Harlow and Bennett.
Yeah.
You identify with Bennett.
Harlow and Bennett, yeah. Okay. And then she is definitely Hannah and Max and Sarah. She's like the mellow sweet ones, and I'm like the enormous asshole ones.
She's the one that gets stuff done.
So Oliver owns a comic book store.
He does.
And so did you guys read? Were you reading comics?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
And watched a ton of comic book men. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Tons. Like at any
Kevin
point
Smith.
I could like randomly, you know, tell you something about like, oh, did you know episode or you know, issue
that was actually
83
super
was, like,
helpful.
The first thing that,
not only just for like comic terms and stuff, because we've always been sort of casual readers of comics, but also just in terms of how like the stores work and who comes into them and what they do and how much of the business is like trading and like selling collectibles and stuff and
how much they have to know.
Yeah. So really, I mean, they have to like know. And comics, you know, it's something that's sort of at Comic-Con we think about this a lot, but it's really hard to penetrate because there's so many like reboots of these big like well-established stories, and so it is really interesting like how much history is there, you know. It's a lot. So
so out of this new series, do you remind me what the series is called?
The Wild Season.
Wild Season series.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite so far story that you've told? Couple?
Well,
I really like all three of these books. They're really different. Sweet Filthy Boy I felt was sort of like triumphant because it was the first book in the new series and it was really scary for us and we had to like rework a lot of it, but I thought we did a really good job. That one just won the 2014 Book of the Year for Romantic Times. That was awesome. But Dirty Rowdy Thing was like super easy to write, and then this one we wrote it once and Adam was like, yeah, it's a great book. It's just not their book, so can you rewrite it? We're like, okay, so
thanks.
But it worked out well, I think. So.
And you have one more in the series.
Yeah. So I have like a sweet spot for Ansel. I mean, I love Ansel. I will like when we were writing this, Lo would be like, okay, so I need to know why Ansel is in the background of the scene, like eating grapes. Like, why is he?
Yeah.
But Luke, so Ansel's always been my favorite. But like Luke, that's in Wicked Sexy Liar, is like he's sort of edging into the favorite.
And we haven't met him yet.
Nope.
We need him in this
heard
book?
him referenced.
A little bit in this.
He's Mia's ex-boyfriend. He's the boyfriend that was her like childhood sweetheart. And they broke up after Mia's accident. He's been referenced a couple times, but you haven't.
But you'll see him in this.
And we have started to see it meld with Beautiful Bastards in the last
Beautiful Secret.
Beautiful Secret was yes.
Yeah, and I think those crossovers are only meaningful for people who follow both series. You know, it's not a huge crossover. Like, it's not like you have to read them both to get, you know, the characters or anything. But it was just a fun little Easter egg for people who are following both.
Like the storylines are, the storylines are sort of happening at the same time.
Right.
So.
Right.
So you mentioned your editor earlier. We heard he took out Ansel's foreskin. Are there any taboos when you're writing erotica? Is there anything you're like, oh, we just won't go there? Or
I feel like we have language we don't really use.
There was one time we used the C word in Beautiful Beloved, and Adam just put in a note that was like, just double check that you think your readers would be okay with this.
Like
but in the context,
I don't love that word.
But in the context where Max was saying it to Sarah, I thought it was super hot, and so we were like, it's good, and nobody has said anything, but like, But
It's just like a taste thing for people. I feel like we have like a certain style of smut. Like we use some words and don't use others, you know, which doesn't mean we don't enjoy them in other things, but sometimes they just don't work, you know. Yeah. Like normally I'm like, when I see the C word, but normally, you know, she'll put it in and I'll be like, oh, okay, I get it.
Our characters here on the Wild series, they skew much younger. It's definitely like NA territory. Do you have any older ladies or 30s or on the way?
It's really interesting you mention that. So we initially, it was never intentional for it to kind of go more new adult in terms of like the way people are categorizing it now. We had an idea for a story for Sweet Filthy Boy where there are 3 best friends who just finished college and they go to Vegas, and like we like the trope of the married in Vegas, but we kind of wanted to put our own spin on it. But it was never until it wasn't actually until I think it was out that people were like classifying it as new adult, and we're like, oh yeah, that I guess that's true, like in the way that it's being classified now. But it's just romance to us.
Totally.
But for an older, the book that we're thinking about doing, we have, you know, when we're talking about like what comes next, we're thinking about maybe one of the women will be older. So
that would be great. I think we talk about that all the time because we are obviously in our 30s now.
Yeah.
And we're just like, where's the book? Because I don't
only just
just a little bit.
just
into
dipping my
that
toe in
area. 30s. So I'm not asking for something for a 45-year-old, but maybe a 30-year-old would be awesome.
Yeah.
You guys can write that.
Yeah. You're talking about it.
Speaking of what's coming next, what can you tell us about the movie, Beautiful Bastard?
Things are going really well. So the film was optioned when the book came out, actually just before Beautiful Bastard came out, by Constantine Film. So if anyone who's like doing the math, that was 2 years ago. Yes, 2 years ago. I'm not doing math. Yeah. And so the option has been renewed as well. We had a script that was written by Stephanie Sanditz. It's amazing. We loved it. But as with any adaptation, it had her voice, a lot of her voice. And so our producer, Jeremy Bolt, who's best known for running the whole Resident Evil franchise, he's a great guy. We're having a lot of fun working with him, and he just wanted more of our voice in it. So in the last couple months, we've been reworking the script, and it really still has Stephanie's bones there, and it just has a lot of like the CeeLo feel, which is really fun. And so we're really hoping to be able to share more about what's going on with that soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
So book writing and screenwriting, obviously different beasts.
Yeah.
So what have you learned? What's different?
Screenwriting is so fun.
It's really fun because it's all dialogue, and that's what we like writing in the books. So the action pieces really are meant to keep it short. It's just direction, you know. But that kind of made it hard to go back to like drafting then.
Yeah, it really like teaches you things that are important when you're telling a story and things that aren't, because it's like a minute a page, and so you have to have a script that's like 119 pages.
And that's a long one. It's funny because Stephanie's was like 112. We were editing it. It was like and we rewrote a bunch of sections and like changed locations and stuff. And when we sent them the version we loved the most, and everybody loved the most, it was 125 pages. And they're like, "This is awesome." Cut 10 pages out. We're like, and that's a lot for 125 pages, but we did it.
And you're talking, if you've never seen a script before, you're talking like small margins. Like this isn't like a full page. Like there's not much on a page.
It's sparse. It's sparse. But I think the main point was like keep the sexy, keep the funny, and make sure that like their heart is in there. And as long as we did that, I think it'll be good. I really, really like this.
Yeah, we're really happy with it.
There was parts that still I laugh out loud, and that's like, you know.
Because it's like, I mean, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, where 50 Shades is like very dramatic and serious, this is not. I mean, it's very dirty and very funny. So.
And different than the book, but in a good way, I think.
Yeah, in a way that's going to hopefully translate.
Yeah.
We'll need to see it on screen.
Yeah.
Soon, hopefully.
Fingers
Make this movie. Okay.
You're watching. Make it.
Yeah.
Like tomorrow.
You
Just
make
start
it,
doing it tomorrow. Send us those links on YouTube. Okay, so some of us got to meet Elijah Wood yesterday. There's a childhood crush.
Oh.
This is clearly Christina also loved Elijah Wood. Have you guys met anyone here at Comic-Con or just in life that was like one of those Elijah Woods for you guys?
We didn't get to meet, but we saw Daniel Radcliffe last year at the Horns.
Yeah.
And it was shocking, like how I was just so hard-eyed, like the entire time. He was so lovely and gracious, and it's so funny because
And
he's
like
very
kind of odd, like to be
Yeah,
there.
and he's Harry Potter, so there's this sort of like nostalgic, like maternal, like love for him, you know.
But he's a grown man.
But he's
now,
a grown
so
man,
it's
and
like,
what's funny
You can
is
see him naked on the internet.
I know. If I wanted, you choose. So that was really awesome. We were really lucky to get into that.
I rode in a very small elevator with Robert Pattinson once, and that was in like the highlight of the peak of my Twilight love, and so that was a little like,
Very small.
you know, like I couldn't
was
keep
very
my
small,
eyes.
yeah.
It was
That's
small.
awesome.
He was like, "Why is she in this elevator with us?"
Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Well, we are excited about this book.
Thank you. I hope
And
you
all
guys
of
love
us-
it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to read it. Maybe we'll do a big reading in our bed in our Comic-Con room tonight.
Lots of pictures.
Take pictures.
Text us pictures
Yes.
of you
On
guys
your
reading.
bag.
Yes.
Thanks, girls. As
Thank you
always.
for having us.
Thank you.
This was super fun.